Think. Think back to the past. Think of that person you wish you would have said something to. What would it be? Would it affect their decisions? Would it have helped them? All of these questions are ones that are dwelled upon after someone has harmed themselves. As humans, we tend to take responsibility for other people's bad decisions. For example, we take responsibility when our sibling does something wrong because we know that if they get caught one more time, they would be in a whole lot of trouble. We don't want them to lose privileges they've worked so hard to earn, so we spare them from the consequences. When trying to help someone with a mental health issue, however, you should look for changes in normal lifestyle, their actions, and the things that have happened to them recently. You can identify these signs and help prevent any bad decisions that might occur. According to the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, it is proven that males commit suicide 2 to 3 more times than females. Just because boys may seem tough and act like they have it all together, it shouldn't be expected that they wouldn't act the same as a female going through the same thing. Stereotyping plays a big role in distinguishing people who could possibly need help. Everyone has their own reasons to be sad, so don't expect people to be okay with unfortunate things happening to them just because they're a different race or gender. Everyone seeks out help, whether they know it or not, and it is our job to assist them as much as we can. One warning sign that will help you understand a little more about preventing teens from harming themselves is noticing a change in their normal lifestyle. Negative changes in their personality can be an indication that they might be depressed. Feelings like sadness and anger or any other pessimistic emotions are examples of these changes that might occur. Not wanting to participate in activities they normally like to do. If you know they like listening to music or taking walks and they refuse to do so when you offer and use excuses like, "I don't feel like it," or "I'm too tired," then you should take a mental note of how many times this occurs and how many activities they don't want to take part in. Sometimes someone may actually be tired, so be careful when determining what is a possible side effect and what is just a one-time thing. Another change can be in their eating habits. Eating too much or not enough and ignoring the fact that it isn't good for their body is definitely not good. Dramatic weight changes can affect the teen both physically and mentally. If they gain a lot of weight, they will feel like they hate themselves even more and want to change. Then they will eat a lot less and start to lose weight slowly but won't know when to stop. Nothing will be what they want. This dramatic food intake change will also affect their body, and they won't be getting enough nutrients and energy, which will make them more tired and decrease their mood, which leads to another change, which is sleeping patterns. They can develop insomnia, which is the inability to sleep, or they can wake up at an unusual time for them frequently. Also, oversleeping and not wanting to leave their bed and claiming that they're still tired after they have slept for much more time than they usually do can be a change. Finally, if they're having nightmares that are interfering with their sleep patterns, they might need to get help or talk to someone about nightmares. Talking to someone, no matter what their qualification, can be a big help to them. Differentiating sleeping and eating habits can be good, but dramatic changes may be identified as a warning sign. Major life events and the way teens act are also an important factor if you want to help them. Saying things about wanting to disappear or even things as dramatic as dying can be a part of this. Also, being pessimistic about the future and not thinking that anything good will ever happen to them. A life obstacle that can really affect a teen is the loss of someone, whether it is through death or just growing apart and having different interests. They really take those losses personally and blame themselves. They try to figure out what they did wrong and what they could have done to avoid losing them, even when deep down they know it's not their fault. The feeling of not being wanted can affect them greatly. This can occur after a friendship or relationship has been lost. Self-esteem levels decreasing can also be an indicator. All teens are somewhat insecure with themselves, but ones who possess low self-esteem levels are the ones who are prone to self-harm and suicide. Bullying and cyberbullying also play a huge role. For example, in the movie Cyberbully, this girl keeps getting cyberbullied online, and finally it gets too far and she attempts to kill herself, but is thankfully stopped. In specific cases, bullying and cyberbullying can be so serious that it leads to death, but in other cases it just adds to the many things that harm the teen. Monitoring a teen who you think is depressed or suicidal is very important. Teen depression is like weathering at a rock. Over time, it slowly eats away at something, or someone in this case, and mostly ends up in an unpleasant case. Make sure the teen isn't decreasing their mood or not wanting to give the amount of effort that they normally do. Be especially careful when you know they have had a recent loss, as they can be very vulnerable at this time. Keep an eye on everyone because the ones who decide to kill themselves are the ones who are least expected to. Don't stereotype because everyone has been or is a victim of depressing events or actions. Some teens may say mean things, not to intentionally harm someone, but to maybe get their attention or act superior. But they may not know how much harm these words can do to a person suffering from depression. It's not like depressed teens go about wearing signs that label them as depressed. Others don't know what they're going through. They don't advertise it. Be careful of what you say.